Welcome back, everyone. Today we're gonna talk about Genesis 5, verse 18. And Jared lived 162 years and begot Enoch. First phrase, we have Jared lived 162 years, the age of descent. The Zohar explains that Jared comes from the word Yarat, which means to descend. His very name marks his era, the descent of holiness into corruption. In his days, says the Zohar, the sons of God descended, which was mentioned in Genesis 6, verse 2, interpreted as angels or watchers who fell from their stations and mingled with humanity. This was a time when heavenly order slipped downward, giving rise to idolatry, sorcery, and moral chaos. His 162 years before fathering Enoch symbolize prolonged gestation. He lived through the age of descent before producing a son who would rise upward, which is Enoch in this case. The contrast between Jared, which is descent, and Enoch, which is ascent, is intentional, highlighting the tension between fall and redemption. The Midrash affirms that in Jared's days, corruption deepened. Man worshipped idols more openly, violence increased, and spiritual truth was dragged down. Yet God preserved Jared long enough to father Enoch, who would embody the counterbalance to his generation's decline. The next phrase we have, and begot Enoch, the seed of ascent. Enoch, originally the word is Hanoch, means dedication or initiation. Where Jared represented descent, Enoch would represent ascent through sanctification. The Zohar teaches that Enoch became the great mystic who walked with God, which is mentioned in Genesis 5, verse 24, eventually transformed into Metatron, the great angel prince. His birth at this point is no accident. The deeper the descent, the greater the need for a righteous one who could rise higher. From descent came ascent, for only when the world fell did the one who walked with God arise. The Midrash emphasizes that Enoch was born in a time of rampant corruption, but dedicated himself to God. His name Enoch implies discipline and training. He prepared himself for holiness when others fell into idolatry. The Midrash sees his birth as God's mercy, providing a righteous leader amid the sin. The numerical symbolism of 162. 162 equals 9 times 18. The number 18 equals Chai, which means life, and 9, which is Emet, means truth. Thus, Jared's 162 years before Enoch represent the hidden seed of life and truth that would manifest in his son. Though Jared's era was one of descent, within it was embedded the spark of ascent that would emerge through Enoch. The Midrash sees 162 as a measure of divine patience. God withheld immediate judgment, allowing time for the righteous seed to appear. The Kabbalistic symbol behind the verse, descent for the sake of ascent. Jared, which means descent, his era marked corruption and the fall of heavenly beings, into earthly chaos. The number 162 is concealed life and truth. Within the darkness, God planted the seed of ascent. Enoch represents and means dedication. Born as the antidote, he embodied the principle that only by sanctifying oneself can one rise above a fallen world. This is a core Kabbalistic principle. Sometimes the descent is necessary to create the conditions for a greater ascent. The lesson from the verse: Jared represents the descent of the world into corruption. Enoch represents the ascent of man into holiness. The seed of redemption always appears in the midst of decline. Descent is permitted so that ascent can shine brighter. That's it for today. Thank you very much for your donation. Be blessed, everyone, and I will see you on the next episode.